in the other in the bar.
Hello, what's up, everybody? This is Ming Chen from a Shared Universe podcast studio. Welcome to the Garden State Film Festival. We're celebrating technically night 3 of the Garden State Film Festival, but we are celebrating night 1 here of actual films in Asbury Park. My name is Ming Chen. I'm here with
CJ Cullen,
and I'm here with filmmaker Chris Daniel, who we just witnessed an amazing documentary.
Absolutely.
About the Jersey's first public radio station, which is, and your film is called WBGO, the WBGO Story, Bright Moments from Newark to the World. Thank you so much for joining us. We love having you here.
Hey, thanks for
right after seeing the film. Your story is, I love like a good underdog story where people just, people with passion coming together to create and as you kind of cultural phenomenon that has affected millions at this point. Jersey's first public radio station, which has gone on for over 40 years.
Over 40?
And not only that, it focuses on one of my favorite music genres, jazz.
Good.
Yeah, which is amazing. Do you have a brief origin story behind this? Like, what inspired you to be like, you know what, I want to do a documentary about WBGO?
Yeah.
No, I was kind of prompted. The New Jersey Historical Commission, boy, they're loud out there.
Yeah, they're loud out there. Huh?
Ignore the ambiance. Yeah.
Now, New Jersey Historical Commission, they had a solicitation out for a grant. And the theme was something in New Jersey that grew bigger than New Jersey. And the examples like the Count Basie Theater.
Yep,
you know,
right here. We know that. Yeah.
So you know it.
For sure.
And that grew bigger. And then they said something like The Sopranos and The Jersey Story, and everybody in the world knows. So me being a jazz listener, I said, okay, WBGO started real small and humble, and now, they grew big in the metro area, now they're around the world. So it kind of fit the bill. So that kind of inspired me to do it. Plus, my love of listening to the music. I said, okay, it's a perfect fit.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And, excuse my ignorance, I did not know Newark was like such a big jazz mecca.
Yeah. Did not know that either.
I think, just kind of press-wise, you hear New Orleans, you hear Chicago, you hear other cities. But I did not, I thank you for educating me on the depth of the jazz genre.
Yeah, I mean,
Newark.
in black music, not just in music and entertainment, a lot of comedians hit Newark. But as far as the jazz circuit, it was, blacks couldn't play everywhere. But they would hit places like hit Philadelphia, and then they come to New Jersey. They hit Asbury, then they hit Newark, and then they go to New York. It was just part of that circuit. Newark was real friendly, and you saw in the documentary how Newark got to be, it was friendly towards blacks in the day.
Yeah.
And there was plenty of places to drink beer because it was a beer town. So it kind of just
a lot of clubs, right?
A lot of clubs.
Do they still exist? A lot of clubs, or not so much anymore?
No. It kind of died, and I guess after the riots, it kind of died. But it's coming back. It's a few clubs there now. I mean, the pandemic killed everything. Yeah. But it was,
It did. We chuckled, CJ. We drink a lot of beer, and we love craft beer. So we chuckled when I was like, "Oh, whoa!" Newark had like all these craft breweries.
Yes.
And then you mentioned there were like over 1,000 bars.
Yeah, bars
and venues in Newark alone.
I think back in the day, the rumor was it wasn't polluted. All the water wasn't polluted up there, so it was perfect.
Well, how ironic! No.
Yeah, I wouldn't drink anything made from that water.
No, probably not. It's probably not a good idea. But when you have that much competition, you have drinking establishments. Yeah. What sells more beer than live music?
Exactly.
Even that is true to this day.
I don't think it was craft beer back in the day. I think it was Budweiser.
Yeah, they had the Budweiser plant right there, right?
But it was beer and it was cheap, and you have a couple of beers listening to music. I guess it was a cool scene.
Yeah, for sure. Do you remember who introduced you to jazz? I think for me it was my father, and at the time I was listening to a lot of I'm an '80s kid, so I'm listening to, Culture Club and things like that. And my dad's just scoffing at me. He's like, that ain't music.
No, I exactly know how I remember. I mean, I grew up in a day where we didn't have remote controls. You had to turn the TV dial.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I would break the knob off the TV.
Yep.
My parents would get mad.
Remember Channel 13, WNET?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I was home at night, up by myself in the living room, and I was switching the dials, and WNET had this jazz festival on.
No.
And I remember hearing Gatto Barbieri playing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this music? And I've been listening ever since. And then I grew up a little older. This was like 12 years old or so. And when the disco age came, I said disco was cool. It's, good to hang out with girls and stuff. But anybody who drove in my car, they had to listen to jazz, wherever I went. And that was it. I kind of, like right now, in my basement, we have a bunch of albums. My wife's got her disco side.
She's right here, so we have to give her a shout out for
and
sure.
I got my jazz side, and the crates and the CDs. But that's what started it for me, and that was it.
That's cool. Did your love of jazz start on vinyl? Because I love
vinyl, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm even starting back to buy more vinyl now. Because I kind of hate that vinyl left because you can't read you can't stream and you can't read who plays what.
Yeah, you need the liner
I think
notes.
It's kind of making a comeback a little bit, right?
It is, yeah.
A little bit.
Little bit? Oh, a lot. I heard a stat that they're selling more vinyl now than they ever have ever. So
that's great.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I'll believe it if that's.
Yeah, it's hard. I still got a decent turntable, but the little belt stretches and the pitch is always off. So
yeah, wobbles a little bit. Yeah, but like the quarter on one side to weigh it down.
Sounded so good though.
Yeah,
it's definitely better.
Do you remember the first jazz musician where that just hit you? It's like, whoa.
I mean, I listen in a weird way. Sometimes I might listen to a song like for a couple hours in a row now. But I think my all-time favorite is probably McCoy Tyner.
Wow.
I got more albums of McCoy, and the cool thing about him is so many different styles over the year. I would have to say he's my favorite. I hate to pick a favorite because
I understand. Okay.
But I just go by who I have the most albums or CDs of, and it's McCoy Tyner probably.
That's awesome. I whenever I want to chill out, I'll grab a little couple fingers of bourbon, and I'll put on a band called The Weather Report.
Yeah.
Which, to me, that's my idea of a relaxing night.
I got played in. Well, I mean. Like the cool thing about listening to McCoy Tyner, if I want to get hyped up, I'll listen to him. If I want to listen to something a little slower, I can listen to him. I want to hear something a little out, listen to him, or everything. So he covers all the bases.
Right. That's amazing. You interviewed a lot of people from WBGO. Do you remember the first person that you interviewed?
Yeah.
I think it seems like you got everybody who was there
started
back in the day.
right?
I talked to damn near everybody from the early days. First person I talked to was Dorthon Kirk.
Okay, that's what I was going to guess that. Yeah.
I knew Sheila Anderson, the host.
Yeah.
And I first talked to her about starting a project, and she said, "No, you need to talk to Dorthon Kirk." I knew of Dorthon Kirk
like right up here, yeah.
At that time, but I didn't know her personally. And Sheila kind of said, "Talk to Dorthon." And when I talked to her, everything.
She just knows everything, right?
Yeah, she just said, "Okay, here's what we do. First, we talked to." Of course, Bob Ottenhoff.
Yes, yeah.
And then she said, you have to talk to Bill May. Bill May is the guy who did the photographs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he started doing photographs for BGO. He kind of rambled in the club, in Newark.
Right.
And he was an amateur photographer. And he's a long life Newark resident. He was an educator in Newark and a resident. So he's 100% Newark.
Right.
Wow.
So he rambled in the club one day and he started shooting pictures. He was at, Miss Kirk was in the club. And Rasan was playing, and Bill was shooting photographs, and she had to stop him and scold him. Said, you don't have permission to shoot Rasan in the club. So that's how they met. So later on, he came to BGO and said, I shoot musicians.
Right. And I do a good job, like I'm helping you guys out.
Yeah. So he kind of started doing it, and he wasn't paid. He wasn't paid, but he did it for 40 years, and actually, the reason why I came with that storyboard graphic, that it starts with the contact sheet.
Yeah.
You know what a contact sheet is.
Yeah.
That's kind of old school.
Oh yeah.
Where you shoot a series of photos and then it's a quick look of everything that you shot.
You put them on the sheet.
Yeah.
That idea actually came from when I was working with Bill. Bill said, "Yeah, I got a lot of photographs," so he sent me contact sheets. The old thing where you see the little film sprockets on there.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, totally old school. Now everyone we just shoot on these or DSLRs.
I miss
all
those.
digital.
So he would
but
send me the sheets, and I would circle what I wanted.
Wow.
And then when I did a couple of the first drafts, I had that as a placeholder. I said, no, this is too good not to use. So I actually took it and recreated the graphic, and it was a good way to put in a bunch of Bill's photos, in the documentary.
Right. And Dorthan Kirk, such a unique individual. Is there? Will there ever be another person like her? Is there a person like her in 2021 that is so entrenched in the jazz scene?
Yeah, I don't think so. And she's been around so long, and I don't think it's anyone that she doesn't know. And she just made it so easy. I knew I had a lot of people to meet and talk to.
Right.
Yeah. But when she would send out the emails, hey, talk to Chris, he's doing his documentary. And then it was just so much. That was it. That was it. It was just like, the general made the order, and people cooperated. This was a low budget documentary.
Right.
But people wanted to help out. Some people came to my house, in the basement to shoot.
That's awesome.
It was just,
You said you went to Chicago?
Yeah, we needed one shoot. One shoot I needed to do in Chicago because Steve Robinson lived out there. And it was like a crazy, I think it was about 36 hours, the whole thing.
Wow.
So their shoot, come back 36 hours, run.
Pretty much, round
total.
You got pretty much everyone else locally, or do you have to travel?
No, everyone else was local,
wow.
except for Steve. He moved out of town. So I went to Steve's house, shot him. It was a really crazy trip because they lost my equipment in the airport. So.
Oh, okay. That's a filmmaker's nightmare.
Gosh.
Yeah, so I had to wait
like
3 or 4 hours to get my equipment. So I got to Steve's house late. So I interviewed him pretty late at night. And after that, he took me to a jazz club in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Got back the next morning, got up, got on a plane, came back. So, found like a $99 flight.
Yeah.
It was, and this was a one-man crew. So I took all my camera equipment out,
audio gear, everything,
and put it into a regular suitcase.
Yeah,
it was pretty crazy, but hey.
Yeah, you got what you need to get, and that means it's worth it at any price.
Yeah.
How was going to the clubs in Chicago? Was it kind of the same, different from here?
I don't. It was the same. It was a typical jazz club. It was a little upscale in that area we were at, but Well,
I was going to ask now. Chicago, there are many jazz clubs here. Yes. Where do we find the jazz clubs here in New Jersey? Yeah. Because I want to go to them. There really isn't anything here, say in Asbury Park or even here in Central Jersey. I don't know of any.
I'll give you a good plug, and I'll give a plug to the New Brunswick Jazz Project. You heard of that?
New Brunswick. No, I haven't.
Well, a lot of free jazz. How's that sound? Free.
I'll pay for jazz. For sure. I don't. Yeah,
but no, definitely pay for it. But the New Brunswick Jazz Project, they have before COVID.
Sure.
You could go to New Brunswick and hear jazz at a bunch of different clubs for free.
Okay.
Yeah.
But look them up.
All right, so we just got to go up Route 18.
That's
we got to break Route 18 and going up there. The amount of archival footage that you have is amazing.
Oh my!
How did you accumulate all that? Was it a lot of it was contributed? It's like, oh man, I got photos.
First, Bill May was a big contributor.
Okay.
A lot of his was a big help. The Newark Library, and I did a lot online. And Newark, digital archives online.
Yeah.
And Bob Ottenhoff had a bunch. So, it was just a lot. And some of it was just Google and luck.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
I happened to find the Duke Ellington thing, just luck. Just so many things happened.
Yeah.
And actually, I had Christian McBride read that, which was kind of an accident.
Huh.
I was in the studio getting ready to have him sign the release, and in my box I had the letter from Duke Ellington.
Yeah.
If you know Christian McBride, he narrates all the time.
Right.
He's got a great voice for narrating it. So, before we packed up the equipment, I said, "Whoa, can you read a little bit of this?" I couldn't get Duke Ellington.
Right.
Yeah.
So say Christian McBride would be great.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
that was like a happy accident. And,
that's amazing. See, I think I spotted some like 8mm footage. Like your collection of archival footage is amazing. In addition to stills from back in the day.
Yeah, the stills.
It really made the story for sure.
That 8mm footage is from Mrs. Kirk's, private home movie collection.
Oh wow!
And a guy, Adam Cahan, did a documentary on Rasan, and he was pretty generous. He he had all of the stuff encoded and transferred from 8mm to video.
Right.
And gave me a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
and I used that, and it really was a blur because it said it was only like a year and a half.
That's fast.
Yeah,
You
which
did
is
that fast. When you
crazy
said that, I
fast
was like, whoa.
for a documentary.
That is fast.
And it was more like, I guess it wasn't for the money. If you add up the money,
No,
it made $2 an hour.
Yeah, no, I mean, we could definitely tell it was a project of love for sure. Yeah. And 1,000%.
But they gave me enough where I was able to pay a few people for like the music, for instance.
Oh yeah.
And that was great. Don Braden did a tremendous job with the music.
Right.
And that was a really fun thing. What happened was Don gave me maybe 200 different cuts of his music to listen to.
So that was like the back when you were interviewing people, you used that for the background.
Don't call it background music.
Yeah, well, not
it's
background
music.
Music, yeah, regular
just
music,
music.
but underneath the talking heads.
Yes.
There, that's better.
Okay, but yeah, Don Braden, he gave me a bunch of music to listen to, and we kind of figured what would match what. So when we got in the studio, I said, okay, I need 3 minutes of this song I want for this scene. And I was actually in the studio with my laptop listening to the narration as they played the cuts for it. And he would tailor us. Okay, you know what? Maybe take the piano out of this one.
Right.
Take the bass out. And just play the drums.
Okay. So he kind of musical director.
And he would, sit there with his band. I'd listen. He'd say, "How was that?" And I would say something, and Don would have his guys do it, and they would just.
Yeah.
And,
So it's just like a recording studio session.
Yeah, we went to WBGO. We didn't have the big screen like an NFL Films, but we had my little monitor.
Well, but you recorded at WBGO.
Yeah, recorded
That's
at
amazing.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
The
Yeah.
other cool thing, a little statistic, the guy who did the audio remixing was Duke Marcos.
Yeah.
I remember from the documentary.
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
Grammy award-winning audio mixer.
I saw that. Wow.
So Duke, I was, worked with Duke, and Duke took, because we did so many interviews, and they were from all over different places.
Yeah.
And they're going to all sound different.
Right.
Duke did an amazing job in making it sound like, I think he did a great job in making it sound like, all level.
All the same,
Right, it was
all
all
level. That's not
consistent,
easy
yeah.
to
all
do.
consistent.
No.
But yeah,
No, it's not. I
Not
can tell you
easy.
that firsthand.
Yeah.
it's not easy.
Yeah.
No,
In
not at all.
Those interviews, I think at least, I don't even know how many, but they were in so many different locations. Like Bob Ottenhoff was in 3 different locations.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. We love the touch. You're interviewing. There's rain.
The rain.
Gently
I got
gently
lucky
going
that
down
day.
on the
I got
window.
lucky that day.
That was nice.
It was raining.
Yeah, I definitely
But
noticed
yeah,
that.
the sound was incredible throughout. I mean, in the acoustics, but it's in the place, but it just sounded great.
No, he did. Yeah, I don't know how he did it, but when he gave it back to me, I was like, wow. It took him a little while to do it, but it was just like the old days. Everybody contributed. That was Duke. He was the man back then, and he still is.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
TJ also runs a film festival as a filmmaker. A couple of technical questions. What did you shoot this on?
Okay.
Are there any technical details that you can give us? Just inspire other filmmakers.
I shot this. The main camera was a Canon C300.
Okay.
Not 4K.
Right.
So it can,
Yeah.
I have a 4K, but I decided not to shoot it on 4K because that's just a monster.
Oh
With
yeah,
all-
I mean
with
the
all
file
the-
sizes alone.
Yeah, so
I think it was
left alone.
perfect. It's like great documentary
Yeah.
look to
Yeah.
it.
So I stuck
It's a
with
great
that.
camera for it.
And I even shot some B-roll with the Canon X100.
Okay.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
B-roll, but the majority was on the C300.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. What did you
like-
record audio on? Do you remember?
I had nothing fancy. I think it was a Sony ECM 77B.
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
It's not a bad mic.
No,
It
it works.
It's pretty.
No.
They're workhorses.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I used for audio.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, it sounded very clean and
Very clean,
reliable. Hopefully.
Yep,
That's good. That's all.
reliable.
That's all you
But
need.
nothing fancy, no rentals. Like I said, it was all in the budget. Whatever I had, that's what I had to use.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just get it done.
Yeah.
Get it
Figure it
done.
out,
But it
get it
worked.
done.
It worked all well
And,
together. Yeah.
Try my best to not, mess it up. No shortcuts, and try to make sure everything was quiet, and do all
Yep,
the professional things to do it.
Yep.
Not just get it done, but get it done right and use skill versus just fix it in post.
Right,
Did you-
or just throwing money at
Right.
it. And
Did you
back.
have to cut out a lot to get it to that length because they probably went they could talk forever, those people, right?
I think everybody talked for at least an hour.
Wow.
And what what I did was I had everything transcribed, and I was really kind of fanatical about it. I transcribed everything, and I made CDs out of everything. So wherever I drove or
CDs,
whatever,
like actual, you burn CDs.
I burned CDs.
That's awesome.
So you could listen.
So when I was
The
in the
whole
car driving,
conversation.
I'd
That's
just be
awesome.
listening and so
Yeah.
it stuck in my head.
They must have had so many stories.
They did. And I hope to make a DVD one day with with some bonus clips.
Yeah.
They had so much good stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And it originally was supposed to be a half an hour. My grant was for a half an hour.
I'm
I
glad
said,
you
"No
didn't
way.
cut it down to
No
half an
way."
hour. Yeah.
No.
I couldn't have did it.
Yeah.
So then I went for 54. So, it's broadcast ready, 54,
Yeah.
48 or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
So,
That's great. So what's next for the documentary?
but this one,
Yeah.
well, eventually after the film festival stuff is done, I'm
Yeah.
going to release it to the public.
Okay.
So that-
The public needs to see it for
yeah.
sure.
And BGO actually right now is using it for fundraisers.
Okay, that's smart.
great.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah. So,
Do they still do the 24-hour?
The Jazzathon? No Jazzathon?
That was
No,
great,
no, no.
though. That was
She said that's never going to happen again. Now with all the unions and this
Yeah,
and that.
that's-
It's not going to happen.
man.
I wish I could have been to one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But
How long
no.
did they last?
I think about 3 or 4 years they did them.
Okay.
But I actually got to go to something like that when the New York Museum was going out of business. They were like, it was Save the Library in
Right.
New York.
Yeah.
And actually, that's the first time I got to see Rasan play. But musicians would just walk in, you sit on the floor, you don't know who was coming in.
Right.
That's my closest to the Jazzathon. But yeah, Mrs. Kirk has a foundation where she funds a kid to go to some kind of music school or camp. Wow. And they're going to use that. Matter of fact, in a couple of weeks, they're going to have a private exclusive screening. And
Oh, cool. That's great.
funders will use it. I mean, if it wasn't for COVID, you'd probably have something in
Sure,
person.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
you do what you can do right
people are
now.
gonna
So
do, and people are going to fund her foundation.
yeah, I mean, I don't even know if they even do telethons anymore. Like, can you remember the last time?
I can't remember
March
the
of
last-
Dimes, maybe,
I
or
don't
Remember
the
that Jerry
because
Lewis?
yeah, everything now is like Kickstarter or GoFundMe,
Yeah,
and then
they do
you
it
just
that
put it
way.
up there and have
Yeah.
people donate there.
It's very rare, but sometimes they do it. If like something really bad happens, like Hollywood comes together and does something for
Yeah,
hurricanes
sure.
or something like that once in
Yeah.
a blue moon. But that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Remember Comic Relief?
Oh, yeah. That was like, what's the name?
It was
Mork and Mindy guy.
Oh,
yeah,
Robin
so,
Williams.
yeah, Robin Williams and
yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg and Billy
Yeah.
Crystal, and it was for the homeless.
Yeah, for
Remember
sure.
that. Yeah.
You mentioned you mentioned sending a kid to a jazz camp, and what is the state of jazz right now? Like what is is jazz growing right now? Like are there kids out there like like Matthew Whitaker who are getting into jazz, and is there a youth
Well,
movement or
I'm not-
you
I'm
are
not- I know if you look at the sales and go
Sure.
by strictly sales,
Yeah.
it's not high on the sales.
Okay.
But I think as far as the art form, it's doing fine.
Okay.
You got
Yeah.
plenty of young people still coming
Okay.
out with stuff. And before COVID again, I used to go to the Newport Jazz Festival, and especially with Christian McBride running it, you always see totally different acts that you would never expect. And every
Right.
time I go, I see some new act. And like I remember one year, Marilyn, who is that I love now that we saw from Newport? Gogo Penguin is one. Check them out. The other one that I play all the time that I drive you crazy with, Shabaka and the Ancestors. All young guys.
right.
Sons of Kemet.
That's awesome.
But check these guys. So I think jazz is doing fine. I just wish more people would pay money to go see it.
Sure.
That's the problem.
Red Bank used to have a jazz fest. They used to go. I don't know what happened. Red Bank.
Marine
Where-
Park.
Yeah, Marine Park. There you go.
yeah.
I don't know the last
And,
one they had, but
one of my dreams. I know it's one of the bigger, but I want to go to Jazz Fest in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I want to see a band like Galactic live. But and I'm hoping that we'll get to do that at some point.
That's
soon.
a good one.
But-
And the other good one they play up at Montclair Jazz Fest is always big.
Wow,
It's always
okay.
crowded, but it's
Yeah.
super crowded. But
that's amazing.
can't
check
wait
out
till
New
they come
Brunswick.
back.
I mean, that's like I said,
Yeah.
it's free, but when they have some good acts there.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was lucky enough this year. One of the jobs I did with a production company is we did the Central Jersey Jazz Fest.
Right.
And we had to do it in like a house. So
Oh,
it was
wow.
just me, 10 other people in the house, and we had private.
Wow, like old school, down and dirty, just like
Well, because
just
of
jazz.
COVID,
Yep.
they couldn't do it in public anymore.
Right.
would you be able to stream something like that if you could do that?
It's been streamed already.
Yeah, streamed. Yeah.
We didn't do it live stream because it
Yeah.
was too not the way to go. So
Yeah.
we recorded it, and then they streamed it and had a YouTube watch party.
Oh, that yeah.
Oh yeah,
There you
yeah,
go,
yeah, yeah.
So you can actually still go see it, but this year I think they're going to be live again because COVID should be died down.
Yeah, which kind of, I'm watching a documentary, I'm watching the origins of WBGO. It reminded me very much of what we do, podcasting, where, it's like, you get a bunch of people, it's like, let's just do this. We'll worry about everything else later.
Oh.
But we're doing this ourselves. We want to control everything ourselves. We're doing it because we love it, and let's just see what happens.
Yep.
And even, the stories about, no heat, no AC, the electrician coming down to turn off the
Crazy
electricity.
stories, right?
Very just reminds me of being kind of an entrepreneur, even now in 2020.
And the thing is, from the people that were working there, they were like top-notch people.
Yeah.
The news guy is a Peabody Award winner.
Right.
The audio guy, Grammy winner.
Right.
And Bob.
Wasn't one a lawyer? Somebody didn't say something about his lawyer?
Yeah. Al Pryor, he was a lawyer, but he had a reverence for music.
Yeah.
And,
Amazing.
but all those guys, they took a chance. And Rhonda Hamilton was a superstar. I mean, she's like a jazz library.
Right.
But they all wanted to start something new. And it was just their passion. And they were young. And the weird thing, Bob was like 25 years old.
Right.
When he started.
Young.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was young. And it was
Young,
like, okay,
crazy.
right out of college.
Yeah.
And it was really kind of funny when Gary Walker was like, "Hey, you want to do a live thing every week?" He was like, "Yeah, sure." No big deal.
Yeah.
And that was the attitude. Let's just do it. And they all got all partied together, and they just said, "Let's do it." And it was for the music, and that's the way they did
And
it.
to start out in a school like that?
Yeah,
That's
fourth floor of a
pretty awesome.
school, like just
crazy.
humble beginnings.
Yeah, what
man.
Yeah, and that was probably the dicey part of it, because people in Newark were pissed off because but they were wasting the station. They were just using it for Newark education stuff. They were wasting the time.
Right.
And then BGO and Mayor Gibson said, you got to do something with it. And
and they did.
and they did. And it's a great thing for Newark.
And independent filmmaking too. I mean, that independent spirit. Like, let's just scrape up whatever we can get and just do it because we love it. It's
the
amazing.
Same thing too. I was an independent guy and approaching all those people and said they didn't know me, but they knew why I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, come on, join the party with them and let's do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, Chris, you've done a great thing. Thank you for jumping down. Do you have a website, Instagram, anything you want to promote?
Well, my company is Daniel Productions, danielproduction.tv.
Yep, .tv.
And, I guess one of the other things I do on a regular basis now is we do a TV show for the African American Chamber of Commerce, Pathway to Success. So that's on once a month on NJTV, or NJPBS they call it now, NJTV. But that's on, you can see it on pbs.org or NJTV.
Right.
Watch that. But Daniel Productions is the business I've been doing for 30 years.
That's awesome.
Are you based out of the same area, Newark area?
No, I'm right here in Tinton
Right here?
Falls.
Oh,
I live in
okay.
Tinton Falls.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay, you're
Wow.
local.
It's very local.
Yeah. All right. Well, we love you even more.
Yeah. Closer.
That's
all right.
Out in the cart.
That's amazing.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're right there. We're right there, right?
Yeah. Our studio is a mile north of the Monmouth Mall. So yeah.
Right
so
there.
we're right there with you, man. Thank you.
Have you been to Jersey City for any jazz? Because I used to work in Jersey City a lot, and I go to the Brightside Tavern. They have jazz night quite often.
No, you know where I've been before COVID again is up in what's that place in Jersey City? Somebody's place. What's it called? And it's a little bar.
Oh.
Can't think of the name of it. Darn it. Not Emmett's Place, but it's a little bar, and for $10 you go there to listen to music.
Yeah.
And they give you a little bit of food and everything.
Right.
But I started going there, and then COVID. I keep saying COVID killed it, but COVID kills everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a nice place to see jazz. It's right downtown, and in Jersey City. But that was it. I guess the places I used to go the most. I used to go to New York a lot, and then Philadelphia's got good. Chris's place in Philly was a cool place, and the typical places in New York, Blue Note and whatever.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you,
my friend. Great luck with the film, and thank you for joining us.
I appreciate it.
That was great. Great night.
Great story.
Thank you.
So, Chris Daniel, everybody, check
All
it
right,
out.
thank you.
Check it out. The WBGO Story, bright moments from Newark to the world. Thank you very much. We'll be here all weekend.
All weekend.
All weekend. But you're our first one.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
you're
be here Sunday.
Oh, amazing. Awesome. Thank you, Chris.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, CJ. Thank you, Garden State Film Festival. And come down, gsff.org, live films all weekend. Great films. Tonight was amazing.
It was.
It really was.
It was
so
good.
Yeah, I like those shorts.
yeah, they did great. So
Yeah, the girl pushed her friend over the.
yeah, it's cold, man. It's cold.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then that other one
Yeah.
was the college
All right,
short.
see you guys
Yeah.
later.